All right. Thank you, Michael. Hello, everyone. I'm actually not Anthony Gagliardo as shown on the video there. I'm actually stepping in for Anthony. Unfortunately, Anthony has come down with a really bad flu just yesterday, so he can barely talk. So I'm Paul Sun. I'm the president, CEO for IronYun's. So I'll be hosting you and doing the company introduction. So wanted to keep this lively and feel free to interrupt me, ask any question. You don't need to wait till the end of the presentation. I find it's more um, fluent that way. If you just go ahead and if you have a particular question, just go ahead and fire away, okay? So with that, what we're going to try to do is keep the presentation, the demonstration to around 30 minutes and um, remaining at 10, 15 minutes for further Q&A. Again, thank you all for taking the time from your busy day today and attend this IronYun webinar. So the company, a background on the company, company started about 10 years ago. We really pioneered a lot of the artificial intelligence, the deep learning technology into the video, especially on the security industry. So I'll be going through quite a few of the solutions that we offer to the industry. And I hope you'll find this that can really help you in terms of some of your customers, integrators, and projects. So the platform that we offer is a software AI deep learning framework. The unique thing about this the framework is it includes over 20 different video analytics, all built in. It's one of the comprehensive software platform on the market today. And the nice thing is most users or customers or integrators really do not want to do silo-based analytics. Find an object solution, find a vehicle, find a license plate reader, find a face detector or face recognition or intrusion detection. There's just too much going on to to have a silo-based product solution to the marketplace. So IronYun took what is one of the pioneer. We took on the effort of integrating all of the most commonly used video analytics in a single plug and play, ready to deploy a software and appliance system. Today, the software has deployed in over 40 countries across the world, mostly in critical infrastructure projects. And we've done some very large deployments um, over thousands of cameras deploying the analytics. And the nice thing is working with the ADI portfolio is it pretty much work with most of the IP cameras that ADI carries, and also the commonly used VMS software. The AI software that we are delivering to marketplace, it's actually a fourth generation system now. So it's really battle tested, robust platform compared to most of contemporaries. They're still in their generation one or generation two product. So the typical verticals that we find a lot of traction in the marketplace is in smart city, in many city law enforcement type application. And second of all is facility security, like intrusion detection. The third would be access control using either vehicle license plate or face recognition. The company also introduced the latest analytics, we call it the social health analytics. It basically uses standard IP cameras for the COVID pandemic application, meaning it will alert on no face mask, will do social distancing checks, occupancy counting, and also using BAA compliant thermal cameras for body temperature detection. Okay, so the software applied in two type of use cases. One is real-time alerts. The other will be forensic. So you can the user can upload files to rapidly search through a video file, video clip. So the primary application is for the safety and security. Those are the prime targets. And the analytics has a broad range of capability from detecting person, objects. Objects would be a person with a backpack riding a bicycle, to vehicle counting, to behavior related, loitering, a person loitering at a bank, or crowding. If there's over X amount number of people in a room, for example, in for crowd control, and also for different type of vertical. For example, there's a PPE analytics that it will alert when a person does not has a hard hat in a construction zone or safety vest, or in a hospital. It will do specialized object like detection of wheelchairs. To smoke and fire, we're one of the first company to release weapon detection for active shooter to Homeland Security. To many social health applications like face mask detection and social distancing. There's also built-in analytics for vehicle license plate recognition, and we have one of the top performing face recognition engine also. The integration are done with many third-party well-known VMS and CMS. So for example, Milestone, Genetec, Exact Vision, to Digital Watchdog, Video Insight, Panasonic, Hanwha, and also the central management software tools like the IMAX. The company has done quite a bit of work with the US military, and here's an example of a fairly large contract award for our software for the DoD Combating Terrorism Office, where the software is being used for situation awareness in a military environment. The company has, over the last couple of years, generated critical acclaim for our software. 2 years in a row, we were awarded by the SIA, or well, as known as the IC West, the New Product Showcase for our analytics, and also the key function features. A little bit, taking a little bit look at the social health, there's quite a bit of interest in terms of with the pandemic and using existing video cameras, thermal camera, to do body temperature. One of the things that we do is we partner with Gains Cameras, which is made in North Carolina. It's a BAA compliant thermal camera that we can do for enterprise solutions. It can measure up to 100 person per minute. So these are not like the kiosk. You need to stand in front for a few seconds to get a measurement. These are a free-flowing person just walk through an access area, and the system will do automated temperature measurement. Okay, so the face mask detection is part of the our new face detection engine that it can actually do a much better job compared to the previous version, where given that many employees or persons here, we have to wear face masks going to any kind of building now. So our face recognition do a much better job at face recognition, even with the face mask on. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for a minute and answer any questions, and I'll take you through a software product demo. Take a look at a live system.
You only have one question at this point. Joe Camerata asked, is IronYun NDA compliant? Which I'm pretty sure that that's part of what you're going to speak to.
Yes, good question. Yes, our software is NDAA compliant. Actually, our software right now is being deployed in quite a few federal government agencies, including the DEA, the IRS, as I said earlier too, also with the DOD Combating Terrorism Office, which covers from the Homeland Security, Secret Service, Border Patrol, U.S. Army. So there's quite a bit of deployment already currently in the military. So for us to be able to do that, we have to be NDAA compliant. Okay. So let me take you to the software. As you can see, all I did is I have a browser. It's a Google Chrome browser. The software is based on the latest web technology that, unlike in the past, where you need to download software onto your laptop, desktop machines, with a new development on the technology front, basically you just need a browser. So this allows the user customers to be able to access the software anytime, anywhere, as long as you have a browser. So I log into the system, and this is actually a live system that's running over 15 different analytics from many different type of object search, which I'll show you in a minute, to face search, face recognition, license plate recognition, people counting, vehicle counting, intrusion detection, and over hundreds of different type of abnormal events. So a typical normal event definition could be, for example, there are customers like banks deploy this in the bank lobby. So if a person loitering or if there's a vehicle loitering in a parking lot, it will trigger an alert. For active shooter, if a person walking with a weapon, handgun, shotgun, assault rifle, being captured by the video camera, will trigger alert. So the user can define many types of events that can be triggered in real time. So on this particular system, there's over a dozen live surveillance camera. Here's one from all over the world, actually. Here's one in London. Here's one at the Cubs, Chicago Cubs baseball stadium. Detroit, and a couple of corporate cameras. And here's one in New Orleans in the French Quarter. Here's one at the New York Times Square. So these are all live surveillance cameras. So a typical application will be finding, for example, if it's a law enforcement or the security, that finding vehicles tends to be a common search application. So what I did is I just selected a car. You can search by various types, and I click on the search. So this is what we call Google for the video search application. So similar to how we use Google to find text information, we do the same thing for the video, okay? So if you look at it, what I did here is I started the search from at 0000 hours today to it's about 12 noontime now on the East Coast. So you're looking at 12 hours of video, and there's over 12 cameras. So you're talking about almost 150 hours of video that the system software search through in near real time in about 5.5 seconds and return 191,000 instances where there's a car. Here's a live camera in London. And if I turn on the object detection, so you identify both of this vehicle. As you can see, this is just a standard IP camera. Basically, the beauty of this software is many of our customers do not need to do any infrastructure upgrade. As long as the IP camera captures good image, we can run analysis on it. And here is a camera right outside Times Square. If you look at the timestamp here, it's 12/16/23. So this happened a minute ago of identifying a car on the left-hand side here. So these are the capability of searching through all kinds of objects. So for example, continuing, you can search by from bicycle to motorcycle to trucks, or you can also search by vehicle make model. On our next release, we will have the world's top 7,000 vehicle make model built in that the software would are trained to recognize the based on the shape of the object. So for example, let's say if I don't think any law enforcement or security personnel like to go through 191,000 instances. Typically, just like how we use Google to add more keywords to filter down the search parameters. So what? Let's say we search for a BMW. Okay. So I selected the BMW as you see here, and I click on a search. Now again, in less than 2 seconds and 1.5 seconds, instead of 191,000, now I'm down to 334 instances. Okay, and this is the kind of capability it will search for. You see the BMW logo. And this provides a very fast way of finding relevant information. We have a city, entire city deployed this using the license plate to do vehicle make model and license plate search. So for example, let's say I want, there's a hit and run incident, somebody calling to a 911 that they've, a hit and run, it's a Honda, let's call it, let's say, a Honda Accord and a partial plate number 356. You can also search by the color of the vehicle. Let me see. Okay, there's probably not a 356 plate number, but let me just do a Honda and a Accord. So let's see what we can find. So all of the, so now you're down to 45 instances. So you can clearly see most of the vehicle that it get identified on Accord Honda lookalikes. Okay, so these are actually, a lot of them are live IP cameras just hanging off on the street, and it will identify different vehicle make models. You see the Accord symbol there. So the similarly, if you can search by, as I say, by license plate. So if I were to just type in a partial plate number of a 912, for example, if that's a particular hit and run report, and it will search through plates. And notice this is just a standard IP camera. This is not a expensive LPR camera. This is just a standard $100, $200 camera that it will identify the vehicle and also plate numbers. And this enabled the scalability of the system. And continue to go through, so you can search for all type of person by the face, by the color of the clothing they wear, age, gender, and also if, let's say in today's pandemic environment, is so if I want to find all person that come into my building without a face mask, so you see here's a person that does not has a face mask. Okay, so you can search also by age, gender, a male, female. So those are the typical common applications. You can search by the color of the clothing they wear, or you can do any kind of combination. So let's say if I want to find a person with a backpack that's riding a bicycle, and so if I do that kind of search, and this is all done in real time. These are literally, the software is going through hundreds of gigabyte of data and pull out live images. Okay, so here's a camera pointing at the Bourbon Street in New Orleans. There you see a person on a bicycle with a backpack. Okay, and here's another scenario in New York Times Square. You see the person on a backpack. So many type of applications. We have one of the most accurate weapon detection. So many schools on the West Coast and church synagogues deploy this for active shooter function. So there's also like many other type of alerts that the user can define themselves. So for example, you can set up an overcrowding at Times Square. So if a particular area building or a lunchroom, if there's more than 10 person or 20 person, you can do an alert on. And to set up the alert is quite flexible. This, for most of you that have done analytics in the past, you know how painful it is to have to worry about the movement of the motion, even if it's outdoor, the shadow cast. You know, sometimes building cast shadow can casting shadows on a particular scene can trigger off of false alarms. In this case, with the AI capability, the real game changer, the reason that there's so much interest in the AI is because of the accuracy of it. To set up a particular event of a person and a dog, if I want to set up an alert on that, you basically just select the person and you select, oops, sorry, not a cow, a dog. And that's all you have to do. And then you set the schedule and it will auto alert. And when that alert get triggered, you can send it to an email, to a Milestone VMS, to a digital watchdog VMS. So these are the kind of capabilities you can do. I'll just want to show you that the nice thing with this particular product in the ADI portfolio is it basically works with all the IP cameras that ADI carry. So for example, if you look at the London camera, this is just a standard 2 megapixel camera. And I connect to the camera through an RTSP stream. And this is probably no more than a couple of $100 we can buy from ADI. And with a couple of clicks, I can enable this IP camera with face recognition technology to license plate recognition, to intrusion detection, vehicle counting, vehicle going in the wrong direction, illegal parking, people counting, person going in the wrong direction, trip and fall, loitering, object left behind, PPE, literally within a minute, with no changing of the infrastructure. This is just purely leveraging on what the customers already have deployed today. And I turn this IP camera, inexpensive IP camera, into the world's smartest AI camera without doing any kind of physical upgrade. And that is the beauty of this solution. And I believe you can do very well by describing this this new capability to your customers. Okay, so with that, I'm going to take a moment and stop here and answer any questions.
We don't have any questions at this point, Paul. If you all have questions, please type them into the Q&A box or the chat box. I'm monitoring both of them.
Okay, so let me go through while we're waiting for Michael to collect the questions. I'm gonna guess there are many features in this particular product. So we do have a lot of training material, marketing collaterals that we can forward to you. And if you have your customer integrators that need the training, the company can provide that. So we have different levels of a training in terms of pre-sales, post-sales, and in-depth technical type of training available. Okay, just reach out to us, and we have RSM regional sales managers that cover pretty much the whole U.S. Let me go through some of the other highlight some of the other features that you can get from this particular software. So the alerts are done in real time. So anytime that a particular event is detected by the camera, it will trigger a real-time alert. And if based on the camera GPS location, it will highlight that and pop it up right on the alert screen, as you can see here. And there's also built-in live video wall, so to speak. So in a remote location, a customer don't have to rush back to the SOC center, and just with a couple of clicks, they can get live video feeds directly into the platform. And these are live images of London and Times Square. And there's also quite a bit of heat map statistical information that you can that the customer can use. So for example, if this is a real retail environment, I want to know where a particular person, male, female, aggregates in a shopping aisle. So I can select different I can select cameras and do a heat map detection generation. Or if it's a city planning department that want to know, let's say, a particular truck heat map. So let's say if I were to use the London, they are famous for the London bus. So I want to see where does the bus typically aggregate or travel from. I can do heat map statistic analysis. Okay. On the counting side, there's quite a few really nice features for the enterprise in terms of this has been deployed at casinos for counting, and also for a retail type environment. There's also vehicle counting that's being deployed at many cities. So when the particular vehicle counting is done, it's not just counting of a vehicle, but it will give the city planners the details of whether it's a car, bus, motorcycle, or truck. That's a level of detail you can get from a video. Okay. And the intrusion is something that really shines with compared to legacy video analytics that's based on pixel base. The AI-based intrusion, they are highly accurate, and they are very flexible, easy to configure. So in this case, this red bounding box is a person intrusion detection. So only when a person walk into the frame will trigger an alert. Not a cat, not a dog, not a shadow, not rain. Okay, so those are the kind of capability I think it will work very well on a mid to large scale type. Any customer that has over 20 or 30 IP cameras, physical cameras, they probably have a need for this. As you know, just so much video now that it's not feasible to have a person watching it and get any kind of reasonable response time. Okay. Any comments, questions? If not, I'm going to try to bring up some questions that maybe it's on your mind and it may come later on. So we typically get asked some questions. For example, does it work with analog cameras? The video feed, typically work best directly with the IP ONIF standard compliant cameras. Okay, it can work with analog cameras, but you do need to check with us to see if it's supported. So if it's a Genetec, and if there's a Genetec DVR, then there's a SDK that we connect to it, and we can pull the video clip into the software to do analysis. Okay, so analog, we need to look at our support list. We currently support. I think I've shown you there's over more than a dozen platforms, that NVR platforms that we support. Okay. And the second typical question is what kind of that we get commonly is what kind of camera resolution? Does it require a high resolution 4K camera to do the object analysis? Actually, no. Our preferred camera is actually just like a 1 or 2 megapixel camera. Majority of our customers deploy the software just using their current infrastructure, and it actually works pretty well. For the detection of person, vehicle, a 2 megapixel can go all the way up to do an accurate detection of the person up to 75 feet without any problem at all. Okay. So I'm just pulling up a couple of the cameras that I've shown you, and just want to show you none of these are high resolution camera. This particular New Orleans camera is barely even 1 megapixel, and it still do a very good job identifying person, vehicles, and so forth. Okay. Michael, any comments from the team here?
I didn't see any. Oh, wait, here, a question has come in now. Is PPE demo for personal protection equipment? I think that was one of the settings on your that you were showing under AI.
Yes. So the PPE include 3 types of object you can search for: a person with or without a face mask, person with or without a hard hat, construction zone application, or a safety vest. So for example, if a person does not has probably I should do that with the safety vest. I just want to show you what it looks like. So if I want to identify the person with the safety vest, so you see that a typical, so the system kind of been trained to recognize, safety harness and this type of reflective vest that you typically need to wear in a construction or critical infrastructure area. Okay.